Hello, my friends, and welcome to the deck overview for the new theme Chronicle event. I was supposed to be doing the deck overviews for the solo mode, but I think I'd rather go over them for the theme Chronicle instead, just because a new event, and I want to make sure I cover it at least a little bit. So I'm gonna do that. And before I begin with that, I'm going to actually I think I will open the recollection because I do kind of want to like try out the mutants for the event. And I did check and I get the mutant for the goal scenario, which is kind of cool. So I should be able to get that. But of course it's going to be a I may have to like just like get the goal scenario over with. So I might just do that so I can get the mutant. Since like the rest of the prizes don't actually really matter too much. Like none of the other prizes are cards. And the mutant is a pretty important card for the deck. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's see how many times it takes. And by doing this, I get a lot of other important cards for like the other strategies that are viable within within this theme chronicle as well. So let's look at my cards. I think newly added cards is going to show all the mutants. I don't think there's anything besides the mutants. Oh, I guess technically these are newly added cards. I don't know. I don't know why it's just showing them all. I don't know why. I don't understand what it's saying because these should have been in before. Yeah, see, I'm missing a ton of cards here. So yeah, I think it's fine. Just going for it. There's no high rarity dangers I'm missing because I already got 3 Nessies. Yeah. But there are quite a few good cards in here. Like, Equimax is, good for, Crusaders. Longiasu is, of course, good for Orcus. No like generically good cards, but Mech Knights aren't bad either. And then this could be a good card if I like ever want to build a zombie deck, since like pretty much any zombie deck would want to use this one. Gear Gigantax is good for any like machine deck. And then of course like this one's good for a Drytron deck if I ever wanted to go into that. And of course the big ones I'm looking for are the Arsenal. And that's about it of the high rarity, because like the others I can just like get. So I don't really need any of the ultra rares, which is at least kind of nice. Okay, so I think I'm gonna just skip it. I don't want to spend too much time on this section because I don't know how long the going over the decks will be. Although I will try to hurry. Oh yeah, and of course you do get SRs, but I don't believe mutants have a secret pack just yet. I didn't think to check. Okay, good. So I got a playset of ST46s. Definitely got more than I really needed though. And maybe I can even get like some hollow Nessies out of this too. I got Herald of Ultimateness, which is nice if I ever decide to go with Heralds, but I don't think I will anytime soon. Got a few, of course, like a lot of these cards would have been nice had this like deck come out, or this pack came out a long time ago, but whatever. Then there wouldn't have been as many cards, and I would still miss out on the newest ones. They might update this every time a solo mode gate comes out. And then, like, release it again. I'm not sure. Didn't get any arsenals. Let's see. Wow, I still didn't get any arsenals. But I did get the Aquamax, which could be good. And then, of course, Gigantex. Like, if I ever played a machine deck, it's good for that, since it allows you to add a level 4 low machine type monster. It doesn't have to be just for it doesn't have to be just for the Gears. Got a few mana cards. Oh yeah, and of course X crawlers. They're not too bad either. X crawlers aren't too bad either. Man, I'm getting super unlucky. I haven't gotten a single arsenal yet. Dang. Okay, so I got a Monarch. So that's cool, I guess. Got the Bran. That's good. Too bad one of the loners, I checked, none of the loners, I don't think, like, really focus on the munes. Man. Okay, there's my first arsenal, but I think I want at least 2 of this guy. Master Diamond isn't too bad in the OTK. You do need him for, like, the OTK, which is probably one of the best ways to play Gem Knights. And of course, Mech Knights aren't too bad either. Man, now it's loading. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. Come on, don't give out on me now. This is annoying. Yeah, I think you can definitely play 2 and that is good enough. Come on. Okay, here we go. Okay, I didn't get another arsenal, but I did get Beret. Pretty good card. Really good card for Curries, but, like, not that generic. Think another. This does give me a playset of this guy, which I think is actually pretty good. Of course, the Shuranui's not too bad either. Okay, there's my second arsenal. That is available in a secret pack. Oh. I should have just went for this. Because that's where you get the MZ05 also. I had no idea. Actually, this is a pretty easy secret pack too, because, like, you get the... See, I should have checked to see if there was a secret pack for the mutants, but whatever. Okay, cool. So I got an Ultimus, and I got an MZ05, I got Beast, so I got quite a few cards I would need. Oh, you can also find... No, never mind. What all can you find in this secret pack? Wait, no. its feature cards. So here's all the featured cards. So this is also nice if you like the Volzars. So this is all, which I mean, and then these guys aren't too bad. These can fit into any dinosaur deck. The Volzar exceeds pretty much any dinosaur deck. This one, these two are probably the best since they call for level 4s. This one's a little bit hard to make since it's level 6s. But they're generics, that's nice. So I think I'm gonna open a few more here. Cool, I got another Ultimus. And I got a second copy of M05 and Beast. That's really good. I think I need one more of the M05. You want to place at the smaller guys. And then Ultimus. Oh. Was it the... I think having one of each of these guys is probably good enough. But I think I'm just gonna go and see what I get. Let's see if I can get anything else. Okay, so... Wow, I got a rainbow rare Volzar soda? I think I have enough for one more in my gift box. Pretty sure I already claimed the prizes from the Duel Pass. Yeah, I already did. Okay, I have enough for one more. I think I'm just gonna go for it. See what I can get. Is it the last one here? Life finds a way. I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, that makes my third copy of M05. Okay. Okay. So that'll be good enough. So here's what I was thinking for my own deck. And then I'll show off the loner decks too. Yeah, and actually what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like probably cut a lot of this like deck construction out. So I just go over the deck. But I won't cut out the packs, of course. Okay, so now I'll go over the deck. So basically here's the deck. So I'm running 3 of each of the lower level munes, since they're all the ways I can like bring out the high level munes. And I'm only running the high level munes at 2 copies each, because that should be good enough. I want to make sure there's like there's an extra copy, like if like I accidentally draw one, so like there's a better chance of there still being one in the deck. And they're all pretty nice. Mist is probably the worst of them, since like traps aren't run nearly as much as like spells or monsters. So this is probably the one I'm going to be going to least. But it's still nice, like also having like a few extra copies of the level 8s, so I can have a little bit of easier time going into my pretty much the boss monster of the deck, I would say, the Ultimus. This kind of reminds me of that one, as I talked about this later, but like basically it kind of reminds me of that one invoked monster. I think it's invoked Mechaba, but instead of like just being able to send monsters from the hand, it's like hand, graveyard, or field. So that's pretty nice. There's more areas, but the drawback is I can only use it once a turn. Whereas with Mechaba, I know that's really good because like you can like use that like multiple times as long as you still have materials in the hand to send, resources in the hand to send. So there's a trade-off, but I still think it's really good. Since this is also really good because you get to destroy a con on the field whenever it's fusion summoned. And also you can make this card unaffected whenever your opponent would activate something that would like try to either like destroy it or move it from the field or maybe take control of it, etc. You can like help keep it alive by basically making it affected to that type. But then if your opponent has something else of a different type, like they can still just get rid of it since it's a hard once per turn. And another nice thing about the immunes here, as I said, when going over them in the solo mode, is that the high level stuff can all get back something from your banish zone, as long as you have that in your banish zone. So that's nice. So you can get back resources as well. As for the spells, I'm running some generically good cards. I'm also running Emergency Teleport because that's another really good way of getting your play started. It's basically like running 2 extra copies of any of your low level immunes. I'm also not running the GB88 because that's probably the worst. Like it's the only one that of that lower level immunes that can actually be summoned via teleport. Because it's not a level 3 or lower, it's a level 4, which kind of stinks. Yeah, and like probably one of the best targets to bring out with the teleport is definitely going to be the M05. Because then you can just use its effect to bring out the SC46. And then you can use this at any of your spells or traps. And that's why I'm running like the spells or traps like at like 2 or lower, 2 or less. Except for the expansion, because expansion is another really good way of getting your plays going. Like if you get super unlucky, don't get any of your starters, you always have expansion as backup. You could maybe run this at 2 as well, but I think 3 is really good. I'm also running Fisher because like this deck doesn't really care about getting this stuff banished. I'm not running Macrocosmos because that's a super rare. I think like Fisher is good enough. Like Macrocosmos is definitely the better one, but Fisher could arguably be like maybe a little bit better since it can also stop like a few hand traps that need to be sent to the graveyard. Like for example, it can stop Fisher. I mean Effect Veiler, since that needs to be sent from the field to the graveyard. And if you're going second, I think this is a lot better too. Because like with Macrocosmos, you still have to set it. But with this, if you're going second, you can just activate it straight from your hand. And I think Fisher can hit quite a few good targets as well. So, I mean, this could be arguably the better card, but I think it's like up for debate. According to Konami, it seems like Macrocosmos is better, and like I can see why they would think that, but like in like other ways, like Dimensional Fisher is better. It's like either way, it's like basically a budget macro since this is like the lower rarity of the two. It's only a rare, so that's pretty nice. They could have easily made both of them SRs because this is both really good, but I would also be running Shifter if I could, but unfortunately that's banned for this event, so I can't run that. Of course, I'm running all of the good hand traps. Another nice thing, save the max C. All of the save the max C. All the hand traps I am running can be like, don't care if they're banished, they can still be used even if they do just get banished by dimensional. I mean, infinite permanences are going to be banished by dimensional. That's also kind of another nice thing about Dimensional Fissure. It also kind of stops one of the best hand traps in the game, since Max C has to send itself to Graveyard in order to activate. So if you just activate Fissure right away, they can't activate their Max C. They're locked out of that, which is really nice because you do a little bit of special summoning for this deck. Of course, that also locks you out of Max C too, but give or take. I guess another good card could be Cross Out, if that's allowed. Oh, apparently that's... Or maybe... Cross Out's at 1. So maybe I could just run Cross Out also. Because, like, then this can be another way of stopping Ash Blossom, another way... Well, Max C, Dimensional Fissure kind of has that covered. But if I don't get Max C, this is another way of stopping the Max C. Another way of stopping the Infinite, which is kind of nice. And then there's a few cards I won't be able to stop because, like, I don't have it. But it's also kind of a way of stopping the, like, some of the cards in the mirror match too. Some of the key pieces for the mirror match. Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is actually better than Call by the Grave for this deck because, actually Call by the Grave can still... Because Call by the Grave, may not be able to stop the card if they're, like banishing it. For example, Call by the Grave can't stop Ashes if Ash is being banished when it's activating for under Fissure. Whereas Cross Out doesn't, it can still activate since it doesn't have to, like, banish a card first from the graveyard. So there's that. So I think I'll try that also. I have 42 cards, but I think that's okay. Especially since Prosperity helps give a little bit of consistency. Yeah, and I explain why I'm running, like, a lot of the immune stuff at 2. Because, like, they can be searched via the ST46. As for the X deck, I'm running 2 of each of the fusions so I can make sure I have, like, plays whenever I'm activating the fusions. But I think 2 of each is fine. Like, because, like, I mean, if I need them both at 3, I can put them both at 3. But I think for now, 2 of each is fine. I have, like, a lot of URCP, but I don't want to, like, waste it all, like, if I don't need to. I already had to, like, use up 60 just to get another copy of the immune of these 2 immunes. And then down in Magician for going into Zeus, it basically just gives me another. Actually, Downer isn't that great because I forgot it was only for the rank 3 or lowers. So I'm gonna need to figure out another thing. Maybe I can just put in Anima. That was another thing I was thinking about. Because I can go into Anima using the Mune. I don't know how much I want to do that, but, like, it's definitely something I could do. I'll put in Anima for now since I already had it. It's kind of nice because it can, like, steal one of the opponent's monsters too. And then, of course, Zeus for going on top. For linking on top of one of my Exceeds. And these, like, Exceeds, I'm pretty much just using a little bit of the Draglubian budget package. So I have something to go into when I have, like, 2 level 8s. Which I don't think is going to be too hard. Because it's pretty easy to get out, like, multiple immunes. I'm not sure how how often I would be doing this, but in case it comes up, I guess. And then of course the Phoenix for getting rid of, another way to get rid of back row. IP, because IP you can basically you use 2 of your monsters, and then you have like one of your high level monsters already on the field with the IP, and then after you use the high level monsters effect, since it's a hard once per turn, you can use those 2 to go into Unicorn for another disruption, which is kind of nice. Also Appaloosa for getting an Infuse Negates. I'm not sure how much this will come up, but I'm just gonna try. I can always replace the cards with other cards anyway. I can't play Access Code, or else I would be, but Access Code is banned for this event. And then Geonator Transversa, I can give my opponent one of my low level munes, and they can grab one of the, and then I can like trade off for one of the like higher level threats or bigger threats, as long as it's pointing to it. That's the only thing. It may not necessarily always be able to point to stuff, but sometimes people can just play into it, and then like that's really good. And then Cross Sheep, basically whenever I fusion summon, or Dixie, like doesn't really matter as much, but what I'm looking at is the fusion summon. Whenever I fusion summon, as long as I have like one of my low level monsters in the grave, which a lot of the times I probably will, since I'm probably not going to be getting the Fisher. I'm not always going to be like drawing into Fisher right away, so like a lot of the times I will. And if I do have Fisher, or I don't have any monsters in the grave that like fit the bill, I could always just not go for it. But it's going to be pretty easy to like go for Cross Sheep and still be able to fusion summon to go into one of my lower level guys. This was something that like I saw in the solo mode, and I thought that was pretty interesting, so I decided to go for it. Yeah. So that pretty much does it for the deck. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna like put in I'm gonna end this just to make sure that I'm able to fit everything in, and I'll just like cut out the unnecessary parts, like basically the deck building, just so I can like make sure I also can fit in the going over the solo mode decks as well. Okay, I just needed to pause for a second there so that I could get that saved. So I'll save and return. I'll see how it does though. I think it should do pretty good. Oh yeah, prohibited because I don't have the mutants. But I'm gonna get those from the goal scenario. Can always. Yeah, I think I'll show that off a little later though. Okay, so I'll go over the these loner decks. So this first one is B Troopers. They're not playing the Max C. Max C would be pretty good because it actually does. The Resonance doesn't search it, but it is an insect, and is it really easy to get into graveyard because you can basically activate any time. So that Max C would have been really nice, but then just decided not to put in. Looks like they're going with the Goki Pole giant ballpark strategy, but they're only running one giant ballpark. They decide to have one of each of the different field spells, whichever you want, whichever you need at the time. So deck description reads, a deck based around insect type monsters with B Trooper monsters at its heart. Take advantage of its summoning power to call out your trump card monsters from the X deck. In particular, Giant Bee Trooper Invincible Atlas can increase its own attack, especially summon a Bee Trooper monster from the deck to strengthen your field. Okay, so yeah, Bee Trooper Sortie. So this is a pretty nice one to play Fisher against because a lot of these cards want to be sent to the graveyard. Although this one still gets an effect if it's banished. Actually, no, it doesn't, because it... Actually, yes, it does, but the insect monster it sends has to be banished instead. Which is probably not that great because they'd rather have them being sent to the graveyard. So this is like a pretty good deck to have Dimensional Fisher for example. Like already right here. It also turns off Giant Ballpark. I mean, technically they can still send it to the banish zone. But do they still get the effect if it's sent to the banish zone? I don't think they do. Maybe they do though. Maybe they do. I'm not sure exactly how it works if Fisher's on the field, Dimensional Fisher's on the field while Giant Ballpark is also on the field. But it does kind of turn off formation if you can get it down on the field like immediately. Unless they have like a way of removing it. But then they kind of waste one of the removal. Oh yeah, Lightning Storm is also available for this event. I'm not sure though. Like I kind of already like have like a lot of stuff. I don't think Foolish Spirit is really all that important inside of my immune deck. I could always go with -1 Infinite and +1 Lightning Storm or Hoppy's Feather Duster. I wasn't even thinking. But I'll see how it does. Cause like I don't think it's like that necessary. Like a lot of the decks probably aren't gonna like be running a lot of back row. Even this Loner deck here isn't really running much back row. It's really only running these three. Flying String is probably one of the best because like you can continually set this card and continually like negate a monster's effect. It only hits monsters, but like the important piece is that like you can continue to set it, and hitting monsters is probably the most important form of negation anyway, because that's like the most prevalent card that you're gonna see. Okay, and then Goki Pool is there because it's a really good target to send off of the Giant Ballpark. Although if you do send the Goki Pool with the Giant Ballpark, you don't get its additional effect. But it's probably still worth sending Goki Pool because Goki Pool's graveyard effect is probably way more worth it. Because like also you get to destroy a card if you add a normal monster. And if you like send the normal monsters, you can't... Since there's only 3 normal monsters being run, like, you kind of get rid of all of your targets for Goki Pool if you send a normal. I mean, technically, you could just special summon one, but, like, if you, like, do this right away, like, you kind of get rid of your targets, and that's not as good. So I think it's better to just send the Goki Pool. You get less special summons, but the important thing is that you're destroying a monster. Also, Giant Ballpark can send any level 4 lowest, so like, it can also send the Resonance to trigger that. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Bee Trooper Landing is the fusion spell to get out the Ultra Bee Trooper. Not running Super Polymerization for this deck, but that's probably fine because like, there's probably not going to be a lot of like insect decks unless you're playing like a mirror. I don't think insects are really that good, like that prevalent of a typing. And then of course Hoppy's Foolish. Foolish is really good because it can proc the Goki Pool, it can proc the Resonance Insect. It can also give you like resources to banish with the with this guy, since he's needed. I mean, technically, like, running Dimensional Fissure does make it a little bit easier to... does make it so that it makes it a little bit easier for your opponent to proc the heavy B Trooper Mighty Neptune. But it's still, like, good for the most part, because now they can't banish one each for this, so they can't really special summon this, and this is probably a really good one to special summon. So it kind of turns off that, so it's still really good. Terraforming is there to either add the giant ballpark or the B Trooper formation, whichever you need at the time. I mean, they're both good for their own reasons, both these field spells. So I guess having a variety isn't too bad. I think I did go over a lot of the B Trooper when I went over the solo mode. So if you want like a better explanation, you can always like look at that as well. And then here's the X deck. It's a lot of insect monsters. This one is good because like it like can shuffle back in your like more important insects back into the deck. Where if you were like running Max C, it would be pretty good for shuffling back in the Max C to maybe draw it again, but you're not, so. But they're running Retaliating C instead, which isn't really, I don't think, as good, but at least it like adds a Earth Insect, so you have a lot of targets for it. And then Shinobi Insect to special summon your lower level insects from the graveyard. B Troop Armor Horn. You're running 3 of that. This is really good because it gives you an extra normal summon of an insect, so that you can like more easily go into the Invincible Atlas, which is like another one of your boss monsters that allows you to special summon B Trooper from your deck. That's probably the better effect, although like gaining 2000 can be really nice if you want to, like, if you just need a little bit extra attack to maybe get over some of your opponent's monsters, or for like maybe closing out a game. Anyway, here's the next one. It's called Nightmare Machine. This is the Orcus one. This might be the one that sees the most play, like, if nothing else, because Orcus are more popular strategy. I'm not sure if it's better than the others, but like, I mean, because it's more popular, I'm thinking like this is probably gonna see more play than the others. Because the last one is, I mean, Danger, Plunder Patrol doesn't seem that bad either. And Dangers are also kind of popular too, and pretty easy to proc. And the nice thing about Dangers is sometimes it, like, your opponent will use like an Ash Blossom, only to discover that the Danger player can just activate that Danger again, because like there's no once per turn on the like revealing to like discard one. So sometimes the opponent will just waste their hand traps, which is kind of nice, because then they won't be able to use those hand traps for your more important plays. Of course, the smarter players will know better, but like it is nice to like sometimes have that. Just see like your opponent getting all confused why it didn't work. Anyway, Orcus Brass Bombard. Oh yeah. I think Dimensional Fissure is also a pretty good card against the Orcus as well, because they have to be sent to the graveyard first in order to use their banish from graveyard effect. Banish the card from the graveyard effect. So if you have Dimensional Fissure, then they can't exactly, like, then they're already banished, so they can't, like, use their effects. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think Dimensional Fissure is a pretty strong card, which is why I'm definitely playing that in my Mune deck. Orcus Brass Bombard. Yeah, like this deck is pretty good because like it's more graveyard centric, which is why I'm saying that Dimensional Fissure is really good against this deck. But also this deck is kind of nice because it has like easy ways of getting your important pieces into the graveyard. Like for example, you can like this one can send them from your hand to the graveyard. Wait, no, not this one. This one. And also it acts as a draw too, which is really nice. So they have like their own basically draw spell. And it's like drawing too, like, which is really nice. It helps get one of your important Orcus into the graveyard and gets you more hand advantage, which is nice. Call by the Grave once again, which like is basically shut off by Dimensional Fissure if you can like activate it right away, or basically like it basically stops the opponent from being able to like target your stuff and banish it. And a lot of people might be playing Call by the Grave because that's the arguably easier one to use, which is nice when I'm using Dimensional Fissure as kind of like an out to the Call by the Grave, while also being good against a lot of the other cards as well. This one's also playing Infinite Impermanence as well. And then the Orcus Crescendo is the Omni Negate. Wow, you control an Orcus Link, but that should be pretty easy to pull off. Also, it allows you to add one of your banished Dark Machines or one from your deck by banishing this card. So it also acts as like a nice way of searching. Either searching or maybe getting back stuff from your banish zone. So you can like use them again. It's like it acts as recursion or search, so that's really nice either way. And then this one can basically give one of your Orcus guys a little bit of protection. Also a little bit of more protection from in the graveyard. With that last effect. Oh wait, no, with its on-field effect. If you're like done using it on the field. Yeah. Of course, the Lightning Storm again. World Legacy Succession, also not too bad. It's a really nice special summon effect. And then Corrupted Ibli can make it a little bit hard for your opponent to special summon monsters. But like I have links, so that's really good. So if like they like try to Ibli me, I can always like go into a link. And then I can special summon again. Although it can still be a little bit annoying. Dingisu is very nice because it sends a card to the graveyard that your opponent controls without targeting, without destroying it. So that's probably one of the best forms of removal. Of course, the Nightmare is pretty self-explanatory. Galatea is also a really nice monster because it allows you to set Orcus spells and traps directly from your deck, while also being able to recur your banished Dark Machines, your banished Orcus monsters. I think this is also a really nice one, Lib, because this also sets a World Legacy spell trap directly from your deck. Oh yeah, so that's really nice, and it has a really nice effect when sent to a graveyard as link material, allowing you to shuffle a card on the field into the deck, which again doesn't target. So yeah, that's one of the best forms. Like this one actually does target, so this one's a little bit worse, but it's still nice. Like, and shuffling into a deck like is one of the best forms of removal, especially when it doesn't target, forcing an opponent to basically like they don't know which cards you're going to target some of the time, so they just need to basically like activate one of their like key pieces, but then you just get to shuffle in a different card, which is pretty cool. And then Longiasu, again, see a lot of the Orcus monsters, like I'm fine, like they don't target either, which is kind of crazy. Like this one also like disrupts without targeting, so that's really nice. Like again, like disrupting your opponent without targeting is actually a really good effect. This can this card can reset your spells and traps, your more important spells and traps, to be able to get another activation of those. Oh yeah, and then 1-for-1 sends one of your monsters, is also another way to send your monster to graveyard, while also special summoning your level 1, which is the Orcus Brass Bombard, and then you can use that as link material for one of your link monsters. You just need another Orcus. This one might be a little bit hard special summon, but it's pretty good when it is special summon or link summon. You get to special summon World Legacy every time your opponent special summons a monster, and that's not even a... Oh, it is a hard once per turn for that second effect as well. Pretty good. Also, destroying all of the cards on the field if it's link summoned in a specific way is pretty nice as well. And then Voyage to the Uncharted Lands is the last one. This is Danger, Plunder, which is kind of the sort of deck I came up with, so it looks like they were kind of thinking the same way. Although, of course, this isn't as good as the Danger Plunder I had, because because there's only one Nessie, and they're not playing the what is it? They're not playing that like low level danger that special summons from the deck, which I forget the name of. The deck description of this reads: deck centered on Plunder Patrol monsters supported by danger monsters. In order to activate the effect of Plunder Patrol Shipyard, you can discard a danger monster from your hand and activate its effects as well. With effective combinations like this, you can take a major step toward victory. See, the way I would be playing this, like, I kind of showed it off, but basically I would be playing 3 copies of Nessie and 3 copies of that other danger that special summons special summons a danger from the deck. Like, those are both really nice. And I'd probably be playing those level 8 that Draglubian Exceed package just in case as well. Although playing these Plunder Patrols aren't too bad. So here's Plunder Patrol Helm. So yeah, but the dangers are really good in this deck because they can proc your monsters that like get an effect when they're sent from the hand to the graveyard. Or like they can like help get your plunders in the graveyard that have effects in the grave, which quite a few of them do. Also, it can help make sure you have something to add when with the Black Eyes effect. So I think the dangers are pretty self-explanatory, and I kind of already went over a lot of these cards. But yeah, a few of these are pretty good because they can like help you link summon or like cheat out one of the Exceed or Synchros. And of course the Blackbeard is really good for helping you cheat out your Exceedant Fusion or Synchros as well. So basically you don't even need to like special summon the fusion properly. You can just cheat out with the Black Eyes. As long as your opponent has like a light, which is like probably one of the most iconic attributes. So like really this works well if your opponent's playing a light, fire, dark, or I guess like water deck. Which light and dark, covering both light and dark is really good because those are like definitely the 2 of the most prominent attributes, I would definitely say. And then even if your opponent doesn't have like those attributes, you can always change them with the booty in order to be able to still go into like whatever you need. It's also really nice because then like you can, if you don't want to go into like that specific attribute, if you want to go into a different one of your X decks, like you can still change them and then like suddenly you'll be able to like access that one. these like, and this is pretty nice because like you can do this, you can go into one of the extra deck monsters during either player's turn using its effect. Yeah, and then the shipyard is also really nice because it helps you to add one of your plunge troll if you don't like, if you didn't get it like a good one in your opening hand. Like you can basically make sure you nab it, or maybe you could like nab one that has like a when it's sent from the hand to the graveyard effect, so that like you can like better make sure your dangers are working like better, or like, yeah. Once again, Call by the Grave. Seems like all of these loner decks are playing Call by the Grave, which is really nice because it helps make my Dimensional Fisher a little bit better, because like I find like a pretty good amount of people like opt to just play the loner deck because that is definitely the cheapest route to go. I think the loner decks are getting a bit better as time goes on. I'm not sure how good these loner decks are, but they can definitely get you there with some effort. Get you to the end. Yeah, I could have definitely just like opted to play something like this since I have like all the dangers. But I wanted to try out the mutes, even though like that was definitely the more expensive route, since I like need to get all the new cards, a lot of the new cards, since the mutants just came out. I need to open more packs. I need to like basically waste a few more of my gems. It may keep me from being able to go for the frog for that like selection pack with the from the selection pack. Which one is that? The one that had the ice shades and the sword soul reprints. It may keep me from being able to go for those, but I think I'd rather just try out the mutants in a event like this than like do that. I mean, you have to make sacrifices with this game sometimes. And I think my frogs are good enough as is, so like I'm okay with that. I would have kind of liked to try out the Metaphys with the Sword Soul though, but oh well. Maybe later they'll eventually come out with like a secret pack for the Sword Soul cards, and I can get them that way. But yeah. Anyway, this is the X deck here. A lot of like 3-ofs on the plunder patrols, just to make sure that like you're always able to like have like targets for being able to like cheat them out, or maybe go into them properly. Either way. And then the Phoenix, I mean, there are like definitely I think the only one that like doesn't really matter whether you cheat out or you bring out properly. Actually, like I think these are the two that kind of don't matter whether you bring them out properly or just cheat them out. But this one kind of makes a difference, since this actually has like a detachability effect, helping to keep your plum troll cards protected, even your back row plum troll cards. Although it's not like that necessary that like you need to bring out properly if you can just cheat out. But like that's what I wanted to say, that like is kind of interesting compared to the other two. And because the other two don't have like an effect on fusion or synchro summon. And then of course the unicorn, the griffin, like the griffin helps you get, once again, just like in the Orcus, helps get back your spells and traps. Although like you don't really need to target the field spell with it, since the field spell already allows you to like reset it anyway. And then unicorn, of course, really nice because like shuffling back in a card is such a nice form of removal. Yeah, and that'll pretty much do it. And then if you want like to like hear more about these decks, you can always like look at the corresponding times I went over the plunder patrols, maybe the dangers for a little bit more information on those, and then the various other, because these can all be found within the solo mode. Maybe not the exact deck list, but like basically getting the strategy of the dangers, the plunder patrols, the bee troopers, or the orcus. So yeah. So that'll do it. I technically did the pack opening with the collection of stories and then that secret pack. So I don't really need to do a legacy pack, and I think I'm gonna skip that because this is already probably gonna be like fairly long, though. Like I'm gonna be cutting a lot of it out, so it should still be like less than 60 minutes without much editing. I'm gonna have to get under less than 60 anyway, because like it's kind of required in order to be able to upload it. But anyway, that'll do it for the for this part, for this first part of the look at the new event. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you everyone who stayed for the pack opening. Thank you everyone who stayed for the deck overviews, whether it be mine or the loaner decks. And a big thanks to everyone who stayed for the entire video. Okay, now I'm going to go into the outro, and I'll leave make sure to leave a verse in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe, and consider ringing that notification bell for regular content. You can either ring the notification bell to be notified of all my videos, or personalized by simply clicking the notification bell and selecting all or personalized. All is being notified about all my videos, whether you watch them or not, and personalized is being notified of the videos that you watch the most. Also, if you would like to leave a comment, that would be greatly appreciated. You can leave a comment about anything, either pertaining to the video, pertaining to the verse I leave in the description, or just something random if you'd like. Just please keep it appropriate. You can even leave an emote if you would like, but just be aware that it may lock you out if you paste too many of the same emote in a day, just in case, like if you decide one day you just paste emotes on a whole bunch of my videos. Just keep that in mind. Usually you can fix that by either going with a different emote or by posting multiples of that emote instead of just the one. And thank you everyone who do watch my videos, and a big thanks to those who do watch all of my videos, but still thank you to everyone who only watches a couple once in a while, or just watches one of the games. I understand how it is, no matter how you do it. It's just appreciated, no matter what, no matter how you decide to go about viewing my videos.